Good evening, April Mack here, going live on a masterclass on the subject of feeling fraudy. And the title I gave this masterclass is Fuck Feeling Fraudy or Fraudulent, because no one wants to feel that way, right? So I'm going to wait for a minute or two to see who comes on. Hello to anyone joining. And if you're watching on a replay, #replay, let me know you are here, leave a comment. And if you're here watching live, I'd love you to comment as we go, because it's always nice to interact if there are people on. So if you are here, say hi so I know who's watching, and give me some love. Have a cup of tea, glass of wine, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to wait for a minute or two till other people join and have a sip on my tea while I can. Gosh, it's cold tonight where I am. I'm here in Canberra and it's really, really cold, hence the reason I'm all rugged up. I've got a heater on in here, but it's still a bit chilly. So I don't know if it's cold where you are. If you're watching from the other side of the world, it's probably really warm. So hello and welcome to anyone watching. I'm going to get started in just a moment. And say hi if you're watching live. Hi. I'm just going to see if I can see who's watching. I can't see yet. So if you can leave comments, then I'll get to see who it is. Oh, I can't see. It's a bit annoying actually. So I might not be able to see the comments tonight. We'll see how we go. If you are watching, leave a comment so I can see if I can interact with you. Otherwise it will just have to be from me to you. So, welcome, let's get started. So tonight's session is a bit of a taster. There's Alison. Hey, I can see you now. Hey, thanks Alison. Tonight is all about fuck feeling fraudy. Let's fuck that off because nobody needs that. Now, I shouldn't swear in case anyone's got kids in the background, so I'm sorry about that. I am a bit of a swear bear. For those who don't know me, my name's April Mack and I am a business coach and mentor, and I help people really create businesses that are aligned with their true calling. I do that in lots of different ways. One of those ways is a monthly membership program called Diva, and some of you watching are Divas. Diva stands for Divinely Inspired Valiant Action Takers. So people who feel divinely called to do what they do and are ready to take really valiant, courageous actions towards their goals are the people that are coming into my beautiful monthly membership program. And it's already been open for a week and a half and we're making things happen in big, bold, beautiful ways already. I'll tell you more about it at the end, but basically, you know, I run trainings in there similar to this kind of a training. And so this will give you a taste for what you can expect in Diva if you're to come in. We do things like this all the time. We'll do at least one a week, and there'll be other sorts of sessions. We do coaching, group coaching. Everyone helps one another out. It's a beautiful, supportive community. So it's $55 for the first month, which is a trial month. So you get to taste it, just give it a go. That's a half price for the first month. And then each month after that, it's $111. And you just stay for as long as you love it. So there's no lock-in contracts. You can leave at any time. But so some beautiful people have already come in and we're having such an awesome time and making lots of shifts for everyone, which is what it's all about, you know. So anyway, hey Karen. Beautiful Karen. There's another diva watching. So some of my divas are watching. Some of you aren't yet divas, but hopefully will be. And some of the divas, I'll just let you know that this is similar content to what we covered in Diva recently. And so it was inspired by some of you guys. But I thought it was something that other people really could benefit from, which is why I'm on here doing it. So if you've heard all this before and you don't want to watch, then feel free to go. But please hang out if you want to be part of the conversation, because it's always a better live when we interact. So think of this like a conversation rather than me just telling you what I think. So I'd love to hear your thoughts as we go. So the first thing to say about imposter syndrome is that we all suffer from it from time to time. There isn't a person that I have come across in my career, and you know it's been a fairly long one, that hasn't suffered in some way, shape or form from it if they are honest. So that's the first thing to acknowledge, is that if you feel that way at any time, whether it's now or have in the past, you're not alone, okay? So we all have this, and we have it to varying degrees depending on where we're at, whether we're acting outside of our comfort zone, whether we're doing something new, or whether we've got some underlying beliefs that need some work. So I want to talk about the different times when we feel like imposters, and also what it is. Basically, what it boils down to, hey Sue, nice to see you, love. Oh, and Karen's having a G&T and cooking. Very good. Nice to see you. Multitasking. So basically what imposter syndrome boils down to is it's our self-doubt. It's the part of us that hasn't yet caught on to the fact that we are actually good at what we do. It's part of us. It's actually the ego part of us. And when I talk about ego, it's that part, sort of the part that keeps you small, the part that keeps you safe. The part of you, it's actually tied to your amygdala, the ancient part of your brain that wants to keep you safe, that doesn't want you to go and take risks, that just, is saying, don't do anything too crazy because we need to survive. And so it doesn't want you to do anything that feels scary or big or outside of the comfort zone. It wants to keep you just squarely in the comfort zone. So when you start to feel fraudy or doubting yourself, it's probably not a bad pointer that you're actually headed in the right direction. You're headed to where the next level version of you really wants to go. And there's your ego going, oh, are we ready for this? I don't think so. And it's going to try and drag you back. And so if you hear, this imposter syndrome arcing up, or, whatever you want to call it, the self-doubt, then, you should notice that and say, this is actually probably quite a good thing, and deal with it. It's actually a good thing in a way, if you can flip it and think of it that way. But so I've identified, and there's probably more, I've identified about 4 times when we can feel this way. First time we can feel this way is when we're doing something quite new to us. So maybe we've transitioned from one career to another, and it's the early days of our new career or our new business. And so we feel like an imposter because we haven't yet maybe done the thing that we're calling ourselves. So maybe we've, like when I first became a coach, I had never officially coached anyone, and I'd never been paid for it. So my very first client, the first time I had to coach, I thought, oh my God, I'm an imposter. I'm a fraud. What if she finds out that I don't know what I'm doing? And actually I did know what I was doing, but because it was my first time, I felt that way. I felt that fear. So that's one scenario where you can feel that way, where you're doing something new. The second time that you can feel that way is if you are in fact being a bit fraudy, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So if you're feeling it, there is a slight possibility that maybe there's a reason because you are being a little bit fraudulent in that you're not doing what you're saying. There's a little disconnect there. So we'll talk about that. The third time you might feel it is if, I've got a note here just in case I forget. The third time is if you are doing something that's out of alignment for you and your soul's calling. So the example there for me was when I was in the corporate world. Even though I was very good in that space, there was a little part of me that always felt like I was kind of faking it. And, I'd go to meetings and I'd be all professional, but I kind of was like, there's a part of me going, oh my God, are we really here doing this? Is this really who you are? Because my heart wasn't fully in it. So there was a little bit of fraudulence in that I had a bit of a mask happening. So for me to feel fraudulent in that situation was actually probably quite correct. And it was steering me and my soul to the fact that that's what I wasn't here to do. And the fourth time that we can feel it, which is the one I really want to spend time on tonight, is when we're doing something and actually we are really good at it, but there's a part of us that hasn't caught on and that doubts ourselves, and it's because of a limiting belief that we hold that is related to the past. It's something we've stuck with. We've got this limiting belief stuck from the past that we haven't yet healed and needs to be healed so that we can then feel totally at ease with what we're doing. So that's the one I want to focus in on, but I will just quickly talk about the other 3 as well before we do that. Let me just check, is this making sense to people? If you're watching and it's making sense, just either give me a thumbs up or, something so that I know that you're getting what I'm talking about and that you're finding it valuable. So I'll just rearrange myself while I wait because there's always a bit of a time delay. Serena's saying, I hear you, fraudulent mask in the corporate, in my case, public service world. Yep, that was me too, Serena. So like I would go to meetings and I would be putting on my professional hat. But yeah, part of me was kind of like feeling like almost like a schoolgirl thinking, what are we doing here? This is crazy shit. What are we actually doing? Okay, so I'm just going to keep going because no one's saying that it's not making sense, so I'm going to keep going. So quickly going back over those. First one is if it's in relation to something new that you're doing. So in that instance, I'm going to just delve into that a bit. What you kind of got to do, like if you've just started something new, so you're feeling a bit fraudy, it's sort of like when you're wearing in a new pair of shoes. The new shoes you're wearing, yes, they're your shoes, they're your size, they're the right size, you had them fitted, but they're a bit uncomfortable. They're just, hurting around the toes or pinching at the heel, and when you walk in them, they're not feeling particularly comfortable. That is kind of the same when we become something new. We almost have to just think of it like wearing in a new pair of shoes and realizing that it might be a little bit uncomfortable for a period of time before we wear them in, before we really sink into those shoes. So, when I first became a coach, I think I'm going to get an interruption here. Hang on 1 second. My son is at the door with a sign that says, how long until you're out? I'm going to be about 20 minutes. If you need something, can you go and see Suleiman, please? I've told you that already. Go and ask him.
What about the station?
Okay, we'll tell him Mummy said you could do the stations. Okay, thanks. Sorry about that interruption. It's always the case. Almost always. I love the little sign. Really cute. Okay. So yeah, the shoes, right? So wearing in the new shoes, just going to have to accept they'll be a bit uncomfortable, but you know that you're going to wear them in. It was when I became a coach, I just started calling myself a coach and telling everyone I was a coach. And the more I told other people and they'd say, oh, hey, this is April Max, she's a coach, the more that I would believe it. So if you're starting something new, get it out there, tell everyone that you are that thing. Get them to call you that thing. Say it as much as you can because you kind of need to believe it. And other people will have no problem believing it. No one else is thinking, oh, she's a fraud. It's just ourselves. So get everyone to start calling you that thing and just realize that it might be a bit uncomfortable for a period of time. So that's the first one. The second one is when your heart's not in it. So we've already talked about that. That's when, there's going to be a misalignment. So if you're feeling like you're fraudy and it is because your heart's not in it, like it's just not making your heart sing, then it's a signal that maybe you need to do something differently and maybe you need to change, tweak something in your career or life, or maybe take a completely new path, in which case you need a bit of a plan. So then the third time is when you are actually being a bit fraudy. So in that case, it's a little bit similar to like being in the job that's unaligned. But I'll give an example for this one. Say I was telling you guys, you need to get up every morning at 5 a.m. and do yoga because that's the best way to start the day, and it's proven and it will work and you're going to feel amazing and it's going to change your life. If I told you guys that and I don't do it, which I don't, I would feel fraudy. And you guys would know on one level that there was something not quite right with what I was saying. and I would know. So if you're preaching something that you're not, and you feel fraudy when you preach it, it might be because you're not really doing it, or you're not really committed to doing it, or you haven't embodied that thing yet. So as leaders, which many of the people watching, I know you're leaders, just think about if you ever get that fraudy feeling and it's related to things that you've been saying. You might even be saying to people, oh, you can manifest whatever you want, but you haven't manifested what you want. Or you might be saying, oh, here's how to get the ideal relationship, but you don't have the ideal relationship. Then you're going to feel fraudy. And so you've got to go, okay, if I'm feeling that way, what do I need to do? Do the work on yourself and don't preach what you're not practicing, I guess is the point. But not to say, you might really believe that that's the right thing, but then make sure you're embodying that and doing what you're saying. And it's a great, it's really, if you find that feeling of, disconnect or a little bit of fraudiness, it's a great pointer to say you're not doing it, you're not aligned. So get aligned before you keep going in that space. Making sense, I hope. If it is or isn't, please let me know. I'm saying yes, Karen, and Karen says huzzah. Of course she says huzzah, that's beautiful. Okay, so the next one, which is the main one I want to talk about, is when it's in relation to something you are actually good at, you are doing well, and all the evidence points to the fact that you are doing it well. However, there's a part of you that feels fraudy. And this is the one we want to say fuck off to, basically. So let's talk about it, and I'll come back to the comments at the end. Basically, this one will be when there's an old limiting belief inside of you. When I say old, it probably comes from your childhood. It can come from, it might have been passed down to you from family members, but basically it's a limiting belief you hold about the fact that you don't think you are able to do that thing, or that, you're not good at it, or you're comparing yourself to others. So I've got a process here that I want to talk you through to take yourself through if that's what's happening for you. So I can think of people who I know, and, clients of mine I've worked with, where they are a really good teacher or they are a really good coach, and they're saying, oh, but I feel like a fraud. I feel like, I'm just an imposter. I feel like, I'm just really not as good as anyone else, and therefore I shouldn't charge, the top dollar because I'm not as good. And that, when I hear statements like that, it's usually pointing to them having a bit of self-doubt and a limiting belief, and then we work on that. So the steps, if you've got that going on, and that there's evidence to suggest that actually you are quite good at what you do, then work it through in this way. The first thing is acknowledging that you feel this way. That's a great step, and noticing these feelings of imposter syndrome or self-doubt. Notice it. That's the first step. The next thing is to identify any thoughts in relation to that thing. So let's use the coach example. So we'll use me as the example. So say the thought was at the start of my coaching, say it was happening to me now. It's not, but I'll just give it as an example. I'm coaching, I'm a good coach, but I've got this fraudulent feeling. My thoughts might be something like, I'm not a real coach, or, I don't have a qualification, and therefore, no one's going to take me seriously. There are better coaches out there. So write down all of those niggly little negative voices in your head. Write down what they're saying. Write them down on a piece of paper. First, after acknowledging it, that's the next step. Then ask yourself with that, how is having those thoughts benefiting you right now? Because there will be a way that they are benefiting you to keep thinking those things, which is why you just keep thinking them. There will be some benefits, and the benefits might be things like it'll be ego related probably. It'll be something like, well, as long as I keep thinking this, I don't have to take risks, or I don't have to, put myself out there, or I don't have to take myself seriously, or, I don't have to leave my job and do that full time, or whatever. There'll be some benefits to why those beliefs still exist in your framework. The next thing you do is ask yourself, how is having those limiting beliefs holding you back? So you really want to work out how they're not benefiting you to keep having those beliefs. So then write another list of how, I've always wanted to be a coach, and, this is my dream job, and I want to change people's lives. And so having those limiting beliefs is not serving me, and it's not serving the people I'm here to help, that sort of thing. So write another list of how it's not benefiting you anymore. Then the next thing I want you to do, which for some people might sound a little bit weird, but just bear with me and give it a go, is I want you to send yourself, the part of you that has held those limiting beliefs, I want you to send that part of yourself some love and say, okay, if it's me doing it to me, I'd say, April, I understand that it was benefiting you to have those beliefs for a period of time. So I'm gonna, it's what you needed. You needed to believe that, and I love you. I love you anyway. And just, do a little bit of, stroking of the little ego and say, it's okay. It's okay. I know that you needed it. And then once you send that part of yourself some love, and it can bring up lots of emotion when you do this, if you do it properly, it's going to set it free. It's going to allow you to just no longer have those beliefs. If they don't serve you, you get to rewrite them. In fact, what I'll say about that is we actually are in control, much more than we understand, of the thoughts that we hold in our head, as long as we're willing to do the work to understand what they are, to dig down into the unconscious and find out what they are, and to rewrite them. We actually get to program our own minds and decide what thoughts we have. We are not at the mercy of our ego if we don't want to be. We can actually take charge, and it's an incredibly powerful, that's an incredibly powerful piece of information if you believe it, which I do, and I know it's true because I've been doing it. I've been rewriting beliefs for a long time now, and it works, and outing the beliefs that I no longer want to hold, and it works. So I haven't done them all. I got plenty to go. It's going to be a lifelong process, but it's just a beautiful thing once you know you have this tool, and you can do it yourself. So that's the next thing, is what you want to do now that you know what the beliefs are, you know why they benefited you, you know that they no longer serve you and why that is. Then what you want to do is reframe the statement in some way, shape or form. Before you do that, actually, let me just see the order of this. I'm going to put out a worksheet on this. If anyone wants the worksheet, just so that you've got it all listed out, let me know. It'll be coming in the next few days. So just put a comment in and just write worksheet, and I'll make sure you get one as soon as it's available. That's right. This is another step I wanted you to do, is what evidence is there for those limiting beliefs. So work out what they are, how they're benefiting you, how they're no longer serving you, and what evidence there is that those limiting beliefs are false. I want you to come up with evidence for why you know they're false, because they will be false, and you just need to engage that logical part of your brain to go, these are not true. So for me, if I held that thought about, not being a great coach, I would say, okay, what's the evidence that that limiting belief's not true? The evidence is I've got clients who don't just come and see me once. They come back and see me multiple times because I can help them. Or, I've got clients who rave about me, and I've got, new work coming in. I feel good when I deliver my coaching services, all of that sort of thing. So that's all the evidence that those beliefs are not true. So the next thing is to reframe them, okay? So this is where you either write the opposite of the beliefs or just reframe them in some way, shape or form. So say my belief was, I'm not a great coach. I'm a mediocre coach. Then I would reframe that to say, I'm an awesome coach. You know, I'm a coach that changed lives. I would pick a phrase that I really like and I'd write it down, because this is where you're going to reprogram your brain and you're going to put up that reframed statement on a wall where you're going to see it every day, and it's going to be just reprogramming your brain. You know, this is just, it's how it works. And so you can actually choose to change the thought processes you have. If they're really ingrained, it might take longer and it might take a bit more work, and you might have to go digging deeper for some surrounding beliefs, because often you'll have one belief but then a cluster that support that. So you might need to do a little bit more work. But for some beliefs, you can just literally change it overnight and choose not to believe that anymore and reframe it. So that's the final step, is pinning it up on your wall and seeing it every day and reframing whatever it is. So it can either be the opposite or it can just be a more positive version. So another example I like to use is if someone's called themselves, one I'm working on, I'll share with you, that I worked on this morning with my coach Carly, was I said something along the lines of, I don't stick to things. And she was straight on to it, you know, because this to do with me and my health and my dieting or whatever. So like I put on weight, I lose weight, I put on weight, I lose weight, and I never seem to stick to things. And so I said that statement to her. I said, I never stick to things. And she was right onto it. She's like, there's a limiting belief. So what you do is you reframe that to something like, I used to not stick to things, but now I'm someone who follows her heart or follows her soul's calling, or, you know, I'm someone who sticks to things. You know, you can just do the opposite, whatever works for you. So hopefully that all makes sense. I'm just seeing here if there's anything else that might be useful as well. This is a final exercise. So hopefully that's all. Yeah, let me just double check. Like I'm repeating myself a little bit tonight. I think I'm a little bit tired, a little bit beary actually. If anyone watches Carly or knows of Carly Marie's work, Soul Modes, I think I'm in bear tonight. Feeling a bit sleepy. I was almost like, how am I going to do this live? But I've managed to come on, which I'm really glad about. And I've done that because I am a diva. I'm someone who takes divinely inspired action, valiant action towards her goals. And my goal here was to come on here tonight and to help some people. So that's what I'm doing. The final thing I wanted to suggest might be a good thing if you're suffering from imposter syndrome or feeling fraudulent in any way. Do what I've just outlined, but also another good exercise is to write down what the next level version of you looks like in all areas of your life. And when I say next level version, I'm talking about, you know, where you are now, how do you see yourself? How would you love to see yourself? You know, what would you love to be doing? And describe all aspects of that person's life. So what does she say, or he or she say? What does he or she do on a daily basis? How does that person, that next level version of you, live their life, you know? And you might have a role model in mind, someone who's already just a few steps ahead of you that you kind of think, I would love to be like that person. Then they're already role modeling for you exactly how it is to be that next level version. So either ask them if you know them, or just watch what they do. You know, if there's someone leading on Facebook or something, what do they do? You know, how do they live their life? I'm sure they're sharing things. What do they say? What do they think? What are their daily routines? What tools do they use in their line of work? And, you know, you could map all that out and really kind of envisage that for yourself. That's another beautiful thing. And by doing that, by taking those steps and by doing that visualization, it helps your unconscious mind to actually move towards it. Once we have a vision, You know, some of it, if you're operating without a vision for what your future self might look like and what your future life might look like, it's really hard for you and your soul to move towards it if it doesn't exist, if it doesn't have a vision. So create the vision and then you'll move towards it. And it's just the same. It's like if we're feeling fraudy and we're believing that and we're listening to that and that goes round and round in our head, guess what we'll be moving towards? We'll be moving towards that more negative version of ourselves, the one that's self-doubting. So if we listen to that voice, but if instead we flip it, reframe it, do this work, do the work, it's not big work, it won't take long, then we can move towards that beautiful vision of the next level version of ourselves. And if you're someone who's here to help others and make a big difference in the world, which I'm sure you would be, otherwise you wouldn't be drawn to me, then doing this kind of thing is kind of our responsibility, right? It's our responsibility to get ourselves into the best shape mentally, so that we can help more people and do it in a beautiful way. That's my belief. I'm just seeing someone has to go. People have got dinner. Karen could listen to me all day. Go and have your dinner, darling. Thanks for tuning in, because I know you know this stuff, but it's nice to have you on here. And I know that some other people had to go. Just looking back if there's any comments. Please feel free to leave comments. Let me know if this has been useful for you. Let me know if you want the worksheet. Just put worksheet in the comments. #replay if you're watching on a replay. And again, I'll just mention Doors to Diva, my monthly membership program, are open. It's so beautiful in there already. I've already got people in there and we're having such a gorgeous time. We're doing spot coaching at the moment. So now's a really good time to join because it's beautiful, intimate, small. We're on Zooms together and we're making massive shifts for people in there. It's really quite phenomenal. And just if you're not sure what it is, you go to the link at the top of my page, hit the Learn More button, and it will take you to give you more information about exactly what it is, all of the aspects, how it's no lock-in contracts, you can come and go as you please, and what's involved. So go there and have a look, or personal message me if you need any more details. But I'd love to see you in there. It's just a beautiful, divine group. And that's it from me. I will see you online soon. Take care and thanks for watching. All right, bye for now.